Are you struggling trying to figure out how the heck to put this thing together? Or maybe you just want to look at a review and see how this thing works. Well, that's what I'm here for. Let's build it. All right, so to get started, you need to have this thing delivered, and it is so heavy, it's ridiculous. So first thing I'm gonna do, of course, take it out of the box, get all the pieces out and see what we're working with. All right, after 25.5 minutes of taking everything out and 2.5 billion pieces of styrofoam, you'll have everything out, laid out like I do, along with your tools and supplies and whatnot. And now we can get started. All right, so for the first part, we're gonna grab number 1. So it's one of the long boards. We're gonna grab 7 and we're gonna grab number 6. So the one with the line under. That's 6, that's 7, that's 1. We're also gonna grab some of our hardware here. So we're gonna grab this bag with the B's and the C's, the P, and the U. So we're gonna use all of these guys and let's figure out where this stuff goes. I have got the B's first, that's these things. They're just gonna screw down into each one of these holes. So one there, there, and one up top, and it's gonna be mirrored on the other side. Once all those are in, I added the 2 on the opposite sides of 6 and 7. All right, next up, we have the U's. They come in their own bag. It's just 2 of them. There's this one with a little slant facing away from the middle, and then the other one over here, slant facing away. And we're gonna get the P, which are these little teeny tiny black ones, and we're gonna screw them into these existing holes. So I'm gonna put it right there, screw that in on both sides. For this next step, we'll need that 6 and that 7 that we just finished. And then we'll need 4 and 3. Those are the squares that we have. And for the hardware, we're gonna have 4 A's and we're gonna have 4 C's. We're also going to be needing the glue, which is E. Anytime we use the dowels, we have to put a little bit of glue on it so it becomes permanent. All right, so we have 3 and 6 together. So these are gonna go together like so. But before we do that, we have to make sure we put the dowels in. So the dowel's gonna go in these 2 holes here, and then the top and the bottom, they're gonna go into the holes up here, which will then go into these C's, I guess you call them. I believe the arrow goes this way, so it's unlocked. So we're gonna put this in first. There we go. I'm gonna put it in like that, and then when we put it in, you just put a screwdriver in and you tighten it. All right, so I've got the drop of glue on the inside, and I put a little bit of glue on the outside. So now when I stick it together, the glue will be on both the inside of our number 6 and the inside of our number 3. And once it's finished, it's gonna look just like this. You're just gonna have a little nub on this side. I've tightened both the top and the bottom, so those look real good. Next up is the exact same thing for 7 and 4. So we got 4, 7, we've got the 2 in the corner, we've got the little hole down here so we know it's going the right way. We'll put the dowels in and they'll come together like so. All right, now on to step 3. We have our number 1, the first thing that we started with, and we're also gonna grab number 10. This is a new one, and this is going to be with the holes facing up. We're gonna get 2 dowels. They're gonna go into these 2 holes here. Of course, make sure you have your glue. Those 2 holes there, and then the big holes. Make sure we put our arrow facing the hole, like that. And then once we get this in, and we get our glue into place, this is going to lift up. Those aren't gonna stay, but those are going to go right into here on both sides, and we'll have it looking just like that. Moving on to step 4. Next, we're gonna continue using our number 1 here. I swapped it around, so now it's facing the other way. You see how this is up towards me, and we're gonna get 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we already worked with 3 and 4. Those are the ones over here that we added those with. And then we're gonna grab 5 and 2, which are these 2. 2's gonna go at that end, 5's gonna go at this end, And basically what we're gonna do is they're all gonna go in the same way. So with 5 at this end, it's going to be looking like this with the 2 little nubs facing this way, where this one's at. We're going to put our number 2 things, or C's, or whatever they are, these things. We're gonna put these in like that. And then we're gonna put 2 dowels. Remember your glue. We're gonna put 2 dowels there, put it straight up and down, tighten it up. We're gonna do that for each and every one of them, and I'll let you know what it looks like once they're all in. All right, so you guys saw 5. This one's 4. So this little piece comes around onto number 3, which comes up like that. So this whole thing makes a nice little indented U. And then of course at the very end, we have the 2 with the little nubs facing out, just like we did over here for 5. So that is how we have everything so far. All right, so step 5 is really easy. We have 2 pieces. This is a 12, and this is also the other 12. The way that we're gonna put them in is, you see I still have everything the same here with this big notch in the middle facing me. We have a little cutout right here on the corner. It's gonna be facing the inside, and same thing with this one. A little damaged, but it's on the inside. And these are gonna slide in to the tiny little cutouts in here. So I'm gonna get it with that facing that way. And we're gonna try to do this with one hand. There we go. I'm gonna slide it in. And there we go. We're gonna do that for both sides. All right, guys, for step number 6, we're gonna get another new piece. This is gonna be the super long one. This is gonna be piece number 8. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a look at it, and we're gonna get the side that has the 2 cutouts and not the big notch on the underside like this one. So we're gonna have this one facing up with all the little holes. We're gonna get this. We're gonna get the 2 legs, or the little foot pieces. These are 13. And we're also going to get the screws, which are J. So these are nice long screws. We're gonna put them through the holes up here, and those are gonna be our legs. All right, so this one might be a little difficult. So start from the outside, moving in at the end of this little notch towards the middle. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 holes. The one directly in the center, as you can see, I've already got my screw just sitting in that one. That's the one we're gonna use for both sides. So I'm gonna put the screw through here, and then on the other side, we're gonna put this on the other end, and then it's gonna screw in. All right, and as you can see, the screw is seated down there. And then on the other side, I have got both the little legs. So this step is done. And step 7 is to place the one that we just finished on top of the one that we just put all those pieces on. So this is gonna sit on top of here. I obviously don't have it aligned. We're gonna go through and we're gonna put the J screws, so these guys, into each one of these holes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. We're gonna put those through, and we're gonna secure this all together. We're building this upside down. So when you align everything up, of course, make sure the corners are lined up. And here in the back, you'll remember that this board on the other side has 2 notches. Those 2 notches is what these in the back, these number 12s, they're gonna slide up into to make it flush. So if I lift this back up, you see that this part is kind of like sticking up. It goes inside that little slot. So we're gonna set that inside there so it's nice and flush. And that I haven't put the screws in, so this kind of flops around a little bit, but we'll align that up so it's nice and beautiful and put in some screws. So another tip when you are aligning this number 8 on top is just to make sure that each one of these are in the right place. So you can move them left and right. They've got a little bit of wiggle room. So when you put the screw in, don't screw it down just yet. Put it on top and then just finger tighten it. And you should be able to find the pre-drilled hole in each one of these. So you'll be able to find it, it starts to grab on, and then you can start pushing it in a little bit. For instance, this one, when I put the screw on there, it just spun and spun and spun. It wasn't in the pre-drilled hole. So I had to move this over a little bit until the screw fell into that hole, and then it is now nice and aligned. You don't want to be screwing this in by force and then have it crack through the side because you were off center. Now that I have it rotated, as you can see, the little bump is on this side facing away from me, so I can look in this way. Step 8 has 2 parts. So you're going to get both of your O's, which are these, and then the screws that come with them, the little black ones, these are P. You're gonna get these guys, and you're gonna put them through the pre-drilled holes here. So we're gonna put this on here, screw them in there, and over there. And once you're done struggling with those and smashing your knuckles, trying to get them into the teeny tiny corners in there, you'll move on to the second part of step 8, which is the 4 corners of these guys back here. So see how these are still a little wobbly? That's what we have these for. So these are F, and they also come in G. It's the same package. So G's the screw, F is these. So, or no, these are F, these are G. These are my little G units. Same thing, same package. You get these little doodads, and you're gonna stick them in. The thin part is gonna go on the inside, and it's just basically creating a little shim that goes in there to keep it from moving so much. And then you'll put the screw in through the hole, and you'll do it on all the corners. So the 2 bottom and the 2 top, you're gonna do it on the left-hand side and the right-hand side. All right, all done. Moving on to step 9, we're gonna need board 14. We're gonna need 2 of the J screws. We're gonna need 1 of the little wooden peg things here. That's an A, of course, with the wood glue. And what we need to do is we need to tilt this onto its side. All right, so now that I've had this readjusted, the feet are facing me, and we've got the openings facing up. On the inside, we've got 2 holes. I've already got the screw set in there, the J's. And the way this is gonna go in, 14 with the holes are gonna face towards the right. And you can see up here, there's some stuff up there. Those are some larger holes. And then you have some smaller holes with the dowel. I've already got the dowel with, let's get these guys out of the way. They're not really moving. Got the dowel with some glue on it. I'm gonna put it right through there. There we go. And then I'm going to tighten up the screws and we'll be good. Now that that is done, I've got that guy sticking up there nice and snug. I'm gonna put stuff underneath. As you can see, that's white. I've got styrofoam on both sides to prop the whole thing up, since you need to be able to slide these pieces of metal on both sides to create the legs. So I've got both of these, and we're gonna need the tool K, and we're going to need these bolts H. All right, so I'm gonna start with the right side over here. There's the legs. Here's the feet of these. That's how it's positioned. It took me a second to figure out how this kind of goes, but I figured it out. So here on the bottom, this is gonna butt up right against here, and then you're gonna slide it in, and it's going to fit right there. So that's what the bolt's gonna thread into. Up top, this is pretty cool. Something I didn't notice is these go inside. There's a little slot right there and right there. So these are gonna go inside here. This is gonna go right outside. It's just a very snug fit. So these are gonna go on the outside, these are gonna go on the outside, and these are gonna go through. So once you put it all up, it's nice and flush. That looks really good. So now that that's in, we can put screw here, and then up top on the inside, we can put the 2 screws in there. All right, once you get both of those number 15s on the side, you can stand it up. Those count as the feet, and the 2 on the bottom count as little stabilizers. You can see this number 14, the one that we put into place. That's right there. That's for a stabilizing divider thing. Anywho, now we need to put the top portion on. So we come to our last long bit. This one is 11. And then we're gonna grab our last 2 B's, so these little guys, and they're gonna come right here in the middle. So we're gonna put 1 up top and 1 on the bottom, and that middle is gonna be the dowel that we put in the center of that one right there, our number 14, And that is what is gonna be attached to this. All right, I've already prepared this one. I've got the dowel in there with the glue on both sides. So now we're gonna put the top on. Now there is a way that this top goes on. So you see how we have these up here and this is kind of shifted down towards the bottom. It's not perfectly centered. You're gonna see when you have it like that, you're gonna have two small drilled holes, one on both sides, the other one's down there. Those holes are going to be in the back. So those holes are gonna be that way whenever we do stuff in the back. I think those are for the straps, but those are gonna be facing that way. You'll know because these will align wrong if you're incorrect. So I'm gonna get this and flop it on here. Also, don't forget you have your last two C's, these little guys, that you're gonna put up in there. So as you can see, I just put this down. It fits beautifully in here. So now what I need to do is I need to tighten both of these. And once we're done there, we're also gonna grab the last of our little screws, the H's, the same ones we used on these metal bits. We're gonna put these underneath here. Kind of hard to see, but there's one hole there, one there. There's one on each corner. So two on that side and two on that side. And we just need to straighten this up a little bit so they align and put those in. Next step is pretty easy. We're gonna grab the D stickers, that is, and we're just going to cover up all the metal. So anytime you see metal up there, metal inside here, we're gonna cover them up with the stickers. Now comes to the fun part. We need to get the fireplace into here. So to do that, I'm going to move this so it's facing the back, which is this side, the one with the little panels, and then the fireplace is gonna go in through the back. All right, I've got it turned so I'm looking at the back side. So the front of the fireplace looks decent. It looks super fake, but decent. I'm gonna put that inside there, and then we'll get it secured with N and M. So the little black screws and the brackets. It's so cool. It comes with its own little remote with no freaking batteries. All right, so I've got my bracket. It'll be the same on the left side, but I'm gonna put this up here. And you can see that there's two pre-drilled holes right there that will secure this in place. Not the most secure thing in the world. You can see in here that I guess if you get a small enough screw, you'd be able to secure it down on each one of those holes on both sides. But I mean, you do get some extra screws. So two on this side, two on this side, you get some two extras. So I'll probably put those in the bottom. Okay, so that makes a very big difference. So I put the brackets on, and that's the only thing keeping this fireplace in place. You can just kind of move it around left and right. The bottom is tilted back. I put the two extra screws, one down there on the bottom one, and on the right one, I went up on the middle one. Now, this thing is properly secure. It's not going anywhere. I probably don't even need these brackets anymore. Not really sure why they decided to not say screw that in, but I did. Look at her. She's gorgeous. All right, we're almost done. Two more steps. And the second to last step is we're gonna grab the 9s. These are the shelves, and you're gonna grab these little guys. I believe they're the L's. We're gonna grab those, and then we're gonna come in, and you can see how there's holes in here. So we just put these little L's into the hole. There we go. Put them in there, and then we will put these 9s in place. These little notches is where those little things go. So if we put it in, we're gonna have to put it in sideways, like that. So I'll show you. That little notch right there is gonna go inside and give it a nice little flush finish. I'm only gonna have a shelf on one side because, well, PlayStations are huge. Last but not least, we get to start on the doors. So I've got the doors, which are the 16. So this is gonna be the same for both. You're gonna have the holes facing you, and on the right-hand side, you'll have the two holes. That's how we'll orient this. Then we need the handle, which is whatever the heck this is, X. We'll We'll need the hinges, V and W, that's the hinges with the screws, and then the screws for the handle are the Ys. So I'm gonna start with the handle, and the handle is very easy. Handle goes on the back side, and the screws are just gonna go through this side, and we're gonna get the handle on, then we'll move on to the hinge. Now that the handle is on, that was extremely easy. Now we're putting on the hinge. So you're gonna wanna make it look just like this, and we're gonna put this inside. So it's like a little cup inside there. It's gonna go inside here. It's easier to have this up like that, soft close action. And so it's gonna sit down in here nice and snug. And then you're gonna put both the screws in like that, just like I did up here. And once that's done, we can put it inside the actual cabinet. And once we get the hinges on the back done, we're gonna put it up so the handle is gonna be facing closest to the fireplace, and then the hinges are gonna go in here. So we're gonna need 4 of those screws, and it's just gonna sit in here, and you're gonna put 4 in there and 4 in there. I have no idea what these big old holes in here are for. So I guess we're just gonna skip that part. So you can see 4 holes, 4 holes. Put them together. I already did the other side. Make sure you put them all in. This is just a little pointer for me. Put them all in and don't tighten them. Just kind of put them all in the hole so everything lines up, and then snug them all up. And then the last thing you have to do, once everything's nice and snug and tight, we're going to adjust it. So there's 2 screws on there, 2 different points of adjustment to where we can move the cabinet in and out this way, in and out this way. So when it closes, it's nice and flush and even. All done, but we do have some adjustments. So right over here, this is smashing right up against the inside. So this is way, 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 way too close, because when you open it and close it, it scrapes up against that inside. So we're gonna open this up, and we have 2 different points of adjustment. You can see right here, I've got a screw here and a screw here. That one's just moving around. Those are gonna be our 2 points. All right, just figured out that the far one is not an adjustment one. It's just loosen, tighten, move this in and out. So there's that. All right, so for the adjustment on the inside, I pushed them all the way out. And once it closes, it's not perfect, but it's closer on this end than it is this end. I guess if you put like a little stopper pad on there, it would look more like this and would look better. I might end up doing that just because I'm OCD. So this little stopper up here, putting a pad on that, since there's pre-drilled holes, you can't adjust it. So that gets it nice and flush out here. And then the other one here on the inside, I rotated those right, and as I did, it came out this way. And that's what you want to check, is right in here. You don't want the door to scrape up against this wooden part on the inside, or else it'll wear down. So as you can see, I just have a tiny hair of room as it's going, and then once it's fully closed, you see there's a bit of a gap. But like right there, right when it opens up, that's the contact point. So top and bottom, just make sure there's no rubbing on those, and you'll be good. You don't have to worry about it in the future. So now I've got to do the other side, and that's it, we're done. All right, now everything is completely done. I've got everything put together. I think the last thing I need to do is tidy up the wires, but beforehand it was very open, and you could see all the wires running everywhere. This looks so much better. I can get the fireplace going. I just need to cover those up, and it looks a whole lot better. The TV is definitely a lot higher than it was before, but if you take a look down here, this has got to be the best. Since these open up, I've got my router in here. This is open mesh. So if I have something in here like a router or electronics, it's not gonna overheat because it's open air. Down here, I've got my wireless charger for my PlayStation. So if I want, I can plug that in. That's gonna be charging. You do have the soft close. There we go. And then over here on the right-hand side, I did take out the shelf, but I wanted to put my PlayStation 5 in here. I know it's kind of hard to see because I've got the black on black, but I've got my PlayStation in here, and I don't have to worry about it, getting hot because it's open. So I close that guy. Oh, soft close. So I hope you guys enjoyed watching the video, and now you can relax with your brand new entertainment center with a nice little fire going. It's wonderful.